Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Lonely Risk Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Blake Ray, and we do our best to have the most amazing guests. And today's guest certainly fits the roster. This guest is not only a contributor for Watch Gecko, but an ambassador for Naga Time, an amazingly talented writer and refreshing content creator. All the way from Poland, Chrono Girl Life, but I'm just going to call you Anna. Welcome to the show.
Hi everyone. I'm blushing now. Thank you for
yeah,
this
I
introduction. It's wow.
yeah, no, I started talking to one of my friends and they were like, whenever you ask somebody to introduce yourself, you always get that awkward moment of like, well, what do I say? So they
Yeah.
suggested to me like that I introduce my guests, and so I'm trying
Yeah,
to
thank you.
do
That's
that.
really helpful,
Yeah.
especially to break the ice at the beginning of the of the conversation because it is awkward, It's like somebody asks you this question and you're like, okay, who am I actually? What am I doing? Why am I here for?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been following you for quite a while. And then of course, like when we met in Geneva, I was like, "Hey, like are you that girl that I follow?" And you were like, "Yeah, that's me." And I was like, "I didn't even recognize you." But then again, like when you see people there, you're like, "I've seen you somewhere, but I don't know where I've seen you." But
Yeah, that's true. Well, in my case, at least you have a glimpse of my face, So
yeah.
you could see the blonde girl. Maybe it was like, maybe I can recognize her for someone. A majority of cases, you don't see people's faces in our world, so that's even, more confusing sometimes.
It's very weird to say that I know people for their watches more than I know them for like their face or their collection. It's very weird to just say that. So
Yeah, you can recognize. You're like, oh yeah, I know this wrist. I know this watch. Oh yeah, that's you. That happens. Yeah, quite a lot.
yeah. Well, I'm certainly glad to have you. It's been challenging. We've been going back and forth. You're busy. We're both busy. Scheduling conflicts. I mean, you have obligations. Hopefully, Lil Chrono is in
Yeah.
good hands.
He is today. Yeah, it's
Okay.
like I apologize for this, like being, a pain in the neck over the last
No,
couple of weeks. But like there's nothing I could do. I want to have this comfortable situation here where we can just talk. And he's 3 years old. He will be jumping on me otherwise.
that's
And
okay. We've had
yeah,
children. My dogs certainly want a cameo on the podcast. You could probably hear them in the background. We've had cats. We've had animals jumping up into. I mean, it's all fun here. We're all about watches and we love family and even animals. So
yeah.
whatever, it all worked out. Um, let's jump into it because I got a lot to cover. First of all, like just tell us how you got into watches. From what I read, it seems like your partner opened the door for
Yes, yes.
watches to you. So how did you get into it, and where did his influence end and your taste truly start to define who you are as a collector?
Mm-hmm. Well, the story, yeah, is probably not breathtaking,
That's okay.
at the beginning, because yes, it was my partner, my father's dad, so my ex-partner now, and he was a collector for many years. He inherited some pieces from his grandfather, and as a child, even he was already passionate about watches. So a couple of years ago, this passion actually went back, with full force. And all the YouTube videos, pretty much everything on the TV was YouTube videos about watches. So at first I was like annoyed. I was like, oh my God, like how can you spend so much time,
Yeah.
listening and watching about something that you don't really use that much anymore, I was like surprised. But then I started asking questions. I was like, okay, he said something, he said this about this movement. What does it mean, And I was like, what different movements? What does it mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Uh, and just asking questions and more questions. And then I found myself watching with him, and I found some YouTubers that I particularly liked, like Teddy Baltasar. That was my favorite one. because I liked his like calm approach, very professional, explaining everything. Like for the beginners, it was really great. So yeah, that's when I got a hook. uh, of course, like before that, I had watches, and my first watch was actually a fashion watch, for one of this famous Swedish brands of fashion watches.
Okay.
Yes, but that was before, and then my ex told me like you need a real watch, okay? So let's start somewhere. So he gave me an Adriatica, which is a Swiss brand, but it was quartz watch, but it was really nice. It was similar style, so I was kind of like, yeah, this is what I like, but it's something proper. It's a proper watch. And then I was just like, man, I want an automatic watch. And then, watching all of those things, there was really inspiring me to get my own. And then I got my own Orient Bambino, which I really,
Nice. Very good. Nice. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, no. I'm not seeing you anymore, so I'm not sure if you're there or not.
I confuse people when I'm trying this new thing of like live editing. So when you're saying some important stuff, I'm just gonna be like whoop whoop. So
Oh, okay, that's good.
so
I
don't
thought,
get confused. I'm
or
still
maybe
here.
when I'm saying some stupid things, you will be just cutting it off.
I'll just go to this when you're gonna say something
Okay,
to
good.
shield you
No.
from that.
Good to know. Yeah, so I got my first Orient Bambino because I was on a limited budget, and I've heard it was a good watch, great watch, and it actually was. I really enjoyed it, and that's when I wanted to do some more. I started posting on my personal Instagram, and then me and my partner at the time were just like, maybe you could do something more fun. Like there were not so many creators, female creators about watches, and especially in my native Poland.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I started my Instagram. And my partner was there at the beginnings of my channel. He was taking pictures. And helping with a lot of planning and things like that. But all the creative kind of part of what I wanted to do was coming from this head.
Okay.
Yes, and then I was just digging deeper and deeper, and I think I was kind of surprised how welcoming this world was.
Totally.
And I really started getting like good results, let's say, very quickly, like having people following me, wanting to uh, read my posts. They were reading my posts. That was something that I was really shocked to learn, because I thought on Instagram, all that matters is just pictures.
Likes. Yeah.
Yeah, pictures, likes, yeah, followers, but people are actually reading what I was writing, and that was very fun. And then I just got more and more ideas. Last year I had a little bit hard time, so yeah, me and my partner split. But then I kind of rediscovered the way I'm doing content now. So
Sure.
I'm taking all of the photography now. Like I did take my photos before, of the watches. Of course,
Right.
certainly not myself when I was in the photo, but the
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
taking. So I'm doing my photography. I'm trying to learn a little bit more about videography. I started going to the watch events more and more, because I found out that I enjoy talking to people, to brand owners, people behind all of those brands. And yeah, so it's still kind of evolving.
Yeah.
And yes, so I think those watch events were really big for me, because I met so many amazing people. And at the watch event in Prague last year, I met Rob Knotts, who actually was the person thanks to whom I got this guest author
Wow.
job
Nice.
at Watch Gecko. So yeah.
Well, you met me too.
Yeah, of course. I've met many amazing people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great.
I read that you have over 35 watches. Is that accurate?
Probably a little bit more now.
Okay, yeah. Well, this could have been a dated article, but I read this article from Vincent
Oh yeah.
Mainspring, friend of the channel, fan. Um, Tell me, out of your entire collection, which watch makes you smile the most?
Oh, okay. So I will be, first of all, I will give the first watch was my kind of grail. It's not an expensive watch, it's not super luxury watch, but that was the one at the beginning when I started my Instagram. I was like, I want this watch. I love how it. I love how it looks, what it has, like the brand and everything. And it's Oris Aquis, and I have
Oh,
this special edition, the Clean Ocean special edition, and I got it secondhand of my local watch friend here in Wrocław, and it's just perfect. I love it. I love it so much. It's a little bit, more on the bulky side. So like it's like 39 millimeters, but it's still a little bit thick. But I love to feel it on my wrist, and it's just beautiful. I love the design of this diver. That's probably one of my favorite divers of all time. So
wow.
that's one.
Great watch.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. The other one is actually recent, and it's the one that I'm wearing. And you mentioned that I'm ambassador
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
Naga.
I seen you post about it.
Yes, yes, it's so good. Like that's their first model, and I just love everything about this design. It's inspired, snake inspired, and
Mm.
very kind of thin, wearable, a little bit on the bigger side, which is what I like. And yeah, no diamonds and excessive,
Yeah, yeah.
excessive feminine features, which is also good for me. So yeah, those are the ones that I can think of as
The
first thing.
the more I talk to the ladies in the industry, the more I find out how much they hate diamonds and mother of pearl and just all the cliche things and even small cases. Like
I
they don't
think
want
it's
any of that.
yeah, because when you like go to this category, female watches is all that you will find quartz, diamonds, mother of pearl. Don't get me wrong; these are all like nice things as
It's
well.
played
But
out.
just like it's nice to have options. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
for
love,
sure.
I love wearing men's watches. So sometimes watches that I love are like 43 millimeters. It's too much for me. And then when they're creating a version for women, it's like quartz. They would pack the diamonds on the indices, and it's just not the same. And I want the same,
Yeah,
smaller.
yeah. It's options, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Any possible collabs going down with Naga like you're working on right now, or
No, I can't really tell anything, but
I'll take that as a yes.
yeah, don't assume anything really.
Okay, all right. Joking.
But yeah, we've only started like working together 2 months ago, and
Yeah.
thanks to them, I already been on the watch event in Italy last month, which was
I saw
amazing.
I saw that, yeah.
Yes, so I think it's a pretty good, working together. Hopefully, they feel the same.
Time will tell. Time will
Yeah,
tell.
we'll see.
Um, yeah, no, that's amazing. And yeah, everybody has their own journey. I'm curious to talk about the watch scene in Poland. Like we've done some past episodes with different markets. Like we talked with a watch trader from Tbilisi,
Mhm.
Georgia. Um, and that podcast did so well because people here in America, like my audience is confined to mostly North America, but somehow we have listeners in 60 countries. But most of us are here in the States. So tell us about the scene, the community, like even the micro brand space or even the big box brands in Poland. Like, is it as mainstream as it is that you'd see out here? Or like, are people just getting into watches in Poland or is there a huge
Oh no.
community around it?
It's a huge community. Actually, okay, some of the, this would be my impressions. So I don't know if you ask somebody else from Poland, they can probably give you a completely different answer. But
Sure.
I think it's a big scene, and it's live, especially on Facebook. If Facebook
Hmm.
or forums, Because that usually people interested in watches are on a like probably they're not super young, so they're
Sure.
a little bit more experienced in life, let's say, and they're using Facebook. And those groups, the biggest one in Poland has over 100,000 people,
Holy
and it's
shit.
yeah,
Wow.
it's big, it's big. So yeah, it's quite. I don't know. It's kind of it's a tough crowd sometimes. I want to say, so you cannot please them with just releasing the watch that is worth probably $5,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and just say it's great. No, they want to know about what's inside, where it comes from, what it's like, when is it, where it's done, everything about it. They want to know that the money they pay for it, it's worth it actually.
Sure.
So that's one thing. There's also a huge market for vintage watches. So vintage
Oh,
watches, yeah, people are really some people are really sitting only in vintage watches, which is fun. I think vintage Omegas are like huge part of of this market here in Poland. Yes, people would kill for a nice vintage Omega, I feel. But yeah, I think recently people started going into micro brands a little bit more, because I think a couple of years ago, and even when I was starting, which was like 2.5 years ago,
right.
if you put any micro brand that people didn't know, they would be like, oh, another Chinese watch, it's
Yeah.
just I don't, nothing interesting. But now I think the situation and the economics and everything changed, that people actually learned that those watches have different stories behind them that can be interesting, and you can actually afford a very nice watch with a nice story, with nice specs and things like that. So I think people are getting more okay with micro brands watches now. And we have a couple of micro brands in Poland, probably around, I don't know, maybe 10. So
Oh,
it's not,
wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was a friend of mine has an online shop with Polish watches. So like a year and a half ago, I was working with him like for free. I mean, he was just lending me some watches to wear and to try out. So I had the chance to kind of try some of them on, and yeah, they're good brands.
Yeah. I've read about like Balticus, I think is one of
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
I've read about some of them, and like Zykor or something Zykor something.
Ah, Shikor. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Shikor. I think
I
it's
do
got.
I do some homework.
Yeah, good, good. This is a funny name because, yeah, it's not a Polish name, not at all, because we don't even have the X letter in
Oh,
our language. But it's Shikor is actually a kind of slang word for watch, but it's not
okay.
spelled this way as it is. So yeah, so that's why it's pronounced the way it is. But yeah.
Okay. So let's dive in to your head here a little bit. You're walking down the street, you see a watch in a showcase, or even on, at a street vendor. Like, what do you look for in not only like the future watches, but like what speaks to you most about watches?
I think story speaks to me. So, well, two things: wearability, if I can actually wear it, because I don't need a watch that I will never wear. So that's
Sure.
that's a thing. So that I will definitely pay attention. Is it my style? Will it be something that I can wear every day and not once a year or something?
Yeah.
Do I like it? Of course, that's important. But other than that, it's not just like, oh, this is the watch I like and that's it, and I'm fine. Which is also a valid approach. I don't kind of diss it or anything. But just yeah. For me, I like when the watch has a story behind, when I'm smiling when I'm talking about this watch, when somebody asks me the question, what are you wearing? And then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, actually, this is interesting because this is such and such brand and they're doing those things. And I have, my friends or like some colleagues from work. Sometimes they're asking what I have on my wrist, and then just laughing at me, kind of that yeah, your eyes are getting bright when speaking about it. and that's the right kind of thing for me. That's what
You're
I
like,
feel. That was a good one.
yeah, I have the feeling too, where you're like always at work, and you're like, I just can't wait till I get off work so I can just go look up watches on the internet, or like go to eBay or like whatever. I same thing here.
Yeah, yeah. So those are the things. Of course, I want my. I am kind of like those, as I mentioned before, Polish people who are like, I want to know where my money went to. So I feel I want to have the satisfaction that it was money well spent. But yeah, that these are those things, at least right now.
That literally just happened to me like yesterday. So right now, like just to give you some context, like I think I live in Las Vegas, which is in a weird way, like you'd think it'd be much bigger for watches than it really is, but
Okay.
it's owned by the big boys, like all the Richemont Group, Swatch Group, LVMH Group, like they're everywhere, but like there's no independence, there's no micros here. Like just
Mm.
they just don't make it this far for some reason. But here in Las Vegas right now, once I'm done with your podcast, there's like 20, 30, 40 watch brands in town right now for like a jewelry expo,
Okay.
where it's like jewelry brands. Like I've got a meeting with Wolf today, like the Winder company, and I have a pretty cool relationship with Young Hans. They're like a really good friend of the brand of Lowly Risk. And I went there and, first of all, I never got a chance to see their entire portfolio in one place,
Mhm.
but they had a young, and I'm a huge Max Bill guy. Like
Oh
if
yeah.
all it takes is like you just to type Lonely Wrist YouTube and then just see all the Young Hans stuff I thought. But like they had a Young Hans Max Bill Mega Solar.
Oh,
The
okay.
entire watch is titanium and the solar movement. So like let's just say like I flew to Geneva, the second it picks up a radio frequency, it changes time automatically.
That's
Don't
so
have to even
cool.
worry about it.
Yeah.
And the entire watch is 23 grams.
That's, yeah, very impressive.
I
Yeah.
know. So I put this on my wrist and I'm like, well, first of all, they put it in my hand and I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm holding anything. Like this is like
Yeah.
a feather here. You know what I mean? So then I had to buy one. So unfortunately, RIP to my bank account. Uh,
Oh, but yeah, Junghans have great watches.
it's worth it.
I had, I think, two vintage Junghans before, and I had
Ooh,
a mixed Max Bill as well. Yeah, in the past, but
that's
unfortunately, I got it secondhand as well, and it had some water damage, as it turned out, when
oh,
I went to kind of service it, and it was just like,
this
yeah.
is my fourth Max bill, and I bought one at an auction, and the price was like amazing, and I was just like, I can't not buy this. And then I thought it was vintage, and then I got it in, and like their entire archives is online, which I really love. Like I can just like do some like internet trolling and find out everything about my watch. It's from 2004. Okay, mind you, I thought I was buying a watch here from the 60s, and I'm like, biggest letdown. But I still love it. I still love it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I
Uh,
had one. It was like a chronograph. It was quartz, but I
mm,
think it was one of the most popular watches that I had on my page at that time. Each time I was posting it, people were like, "Wow, that's so amazing!" And it was 18 years old. So
sure.
yeah, very nice. Yeah, kind
How
of.
how do you decide to kind of deviate from that? So you said like the most important thing to you is not only necessarily wearability, but story is very important in your purchasing process. Like, how do you decide to kind of be like, okay, like I don't give a shit about this story. Like this watch is amazing. Like where does that turn over for you? You know?
I don't know if that ever happened, to be
Oh yeah,
honest. Maybe no. I just need to be really interested in a watch, that to kind of do that. But it kind of contributes to the story behind it. So uh, I'm thinking, mm, no,
I
not
always ask a
really.
bunch of really hard questions. I'm sorry.
No, no, that's fine. I think it's just because I don't really have the budget for like really those expensive, fancy,
Sure.
cool watches. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't get those type of problems that much. So when
Okay.
I'm spending my money, I'm just making sure that it's, it's for something
All
more
right.
than just, oh, it's pretty and it's cool and it's fancy.
Since we're both in the watch industry, we can do fairy tales here. So, if budget was no option, what would be in your watch case?
Um, hmm. I don't really dream about like Pateks or APs or things like that. I don't have
Good. Yeah.
those like Grail watches. The one that I loved during Watches and Wonders this year, I think was my favorite release from Watches and Wonders, was IWC in gold, the Engineer
I see.
35 in gold. So I think that's probably something that
Okay.
I would love to have, especially this gold version was like really amazing. So yeah, it's not a crazy, crazy like, big guys watch,
Sure.
but still, yeah, I would definitely love this one. Um, yeah,
IWC listens. So, hey, wink, wink. Yeah, there we go.
and I wink with my like,
Uh,
no,
wink,
no.
please, and thank you.
So yeah, so I think that's the first one that comes to my mind, and there will be probably I would definitely love to have a Rolex GMT one day in my collection.
Mhm.
Again, this is not, for some people Rolexes are like cheap watches.
Right.
These are not, like, as I said, like the text. I like from the really big guys, I like Vacheron a lot, Vacheron
Mhm.
Constantin. But again, it's just such a fairy tale to me that I'm not even thinking about.
Totally. No, it's the same for me. Like,
Mhm.
I have this weird problem of like looking at my bank account and realizing I can't afford anything that I want,
Yeah.
which sucks. But then I go look at my watch collection, I'd be like, how the hell did I afford all this?
Yeah, I know. And then you're like uh, asking yourself, do I really need another one? Like if it
Nope, but I'm gonna get one.
yeah, exactly. But sorry, but I think the problem for me with getting such an expensive watch would be, would I be wearing it enough? That would be again this question
Yeah,
about the wearability, and
100%.
that's probably something that it will be very difficult to overcome for me.
Yeah.
So, I'd rather have like a couple of watches that I will have on rotation, that are not that expensive, but I will be wearing them, than just having this one. Well, of course, I will never have one, but
Yeah, yeah.
spending a lot of money on this one that I can barely wear.
Have you tried getting some of your friends, like your guy and girlfriends into watches? Like, or most of your friends already in the scene or
No, like my friends here, my local friends, my old friends, they're not into watches, and I haven't really tried to push them. They, because I don't like being pushed to anything. So I assume that my friends are a bit like me and they don't like that too. But they watch my profile. They watch, the videos, they look at the photos that I'm posting within stories. So they enjoy it as well, as far as they tell me, if they're not lying. But yeah, and I sometimes, oh yeah, this watch is actually very cool, and they really like to listen about it, and listen about my journey there on Instagram. But yeah, no, I'm not forcing people to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so, and then now I have some watch friends as well, so I can kind of uh, put all of this, energy towards them instead of torturing my friends.
No, that means you're a good friend. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and I even like my best friend who just moved to America actually 2 months ago. She married an American man, and she moved to Raleigh. Um,
that's where I'm from. Did you know that?
you are from Raleigh? No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, so there you go. And it's a
Wow.
big watch scene there, I think. Yeah, as
There
well.
is. There is.
Yeah,
I never got into the watch scene there. But no, I've lived most of my life there. I
yeah.
even
I'm
I even owned a
hoping.
house there for 7 years. Sold it just
Okay.
just recently. So,
Ah, very nice. Yeah, so I'm hoping to actually go there someday. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. We'll see. But yeah, she's always like trolling me, you know. She's like, she
Yeah.
just bought the bands for her like Apple Watch, you know. She's like, oh look, they're fancy. Do you want to post them online? You know, things like that. But yeah, so luckily I have many watch friends now that I can actually talk about those things.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do another hypothetical here because I like these hypotheticals. It gives us really a personal taste of who you are. If you could take any watch from your collection and throw it on one of your friends' wrists who's not a watch collector,
Mhm.
which one would it be, and which one do you think that would convert them into a watch collector?
Mhm. I think the majority of my female friends, at least, they would like something more, something more. Sorry, I'm missing the word. Minimalistic, you know, this kind of way. So I think my Nomos would be a good choice for some of my Nomos Metro. Is 33 millimeters and it's in this deep shade of red, muted red. I think that would be the good choice for my like female friends because you know it's very minimalistic. Like, there's a reason why those fashion brands are so popular. You know,
Yeah.
um, they do what women want to buy. You know, they don't want like big kind of sports watches usually. I want that, but not
Sure.
everybody wants that. So yeah, I think that would be one. There's also Venezianico that I recently got with this aventurine dial, which kind of a couple of my friends were like, "Oh, it's so beautiful," you
I
know.
saw that. I saw you post that.
Yes, and it's again, it's minimalistic. It's kind of wearable to you can wear it with everything. So I think one of those two. I think Nomos has a really great selection for like non-watch enthusiasts that can be turned enthusiasts in the future. So that would be probably my choice, or
Something.
Max if I had it, or still. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, there's always opportunity for another Max build to come back into your
yeah. I hope it will
collection.
one day. Yeah, I hope it will one day.
Yeah, young Hans, make it happen.
Are they
No,
listening?
yeah, they are probably. I love them. They're so great. So like at least in North America, for example, like a family took over like the whole North American market, and it's like
Mhm.
this German family, and it's like a father, a wife, a daughter, and I think there's a son there. And it's just like it's almost like it's like a mom and pop like small business type of vibe whenever you go there.
That's
And I
great.
and
That's really
I was with them yesterday, and one of my colleagues, I joke and say he's the CEO of Lonely Wrist, but he was with me, and he had never gotten a chance to see young Hans, and except for the ones that I had, and yeah, just immediately warm welcome, like the vintage one that I had, that I thought I had acquired. I texted young Hans pictures of it, and they were like, "Oh, like," I was like, "I don't even have a strap for this." They're like, "Oh, we're gonna bring you one to Vegas," and so today I'm picking up my strap.
no way. Oh,
Yep.
so maybe they can sort me the dial for my Max bill because
Oh,
the dial is the one that fell apart.
easy, zero issues making that
Okay.
happen.
Yeah.
So, but no, yeah, they're a great brand, and I just love that about them. Um, I'm super curious because now that you're in the industry and you are a creator, like a content creator, and even a journalist, you know, at the end of the day, when watch brands work with you, you know, they want to see, you know, some return, right? Whether it's great content, you know, maybe a great perspective on watches, or even the possibility of people buying watches based on the content that you produce. From a lot of the females that I've talked to in the industry, a lot of watch brands are missing the mark when it comes to marketing and targeting the
Mhm.
female and watch enthusiast. So making that really complicated question super simple. Is there a brand that you feel like really hits the mark when it comes to marketing towards the ladies?
I'm gonna mention Nomos again because you know they don't put gender on their watches pretty much, so that's plain and simple. These are nice watches. You like the watch. Here's a selection of sizes, and their marketing is actually very, it's not too pushy. It's, just showing different perspective on different wrists. You have different models. You have different colors as well. That's something that I think works well. And it's also, what else? That's what I like. That's that's my perspective. Of course, there are like I'm maybe not the right woman to ask this question, because
Oh, come on.
I will sound like I'm not like all the girls. No, I don't mean
That's
that.
okay.
I mean, like, I like men's watches, so of course it's a little bit different for me. But I think, I think most of the brands are missing the point, just straight away giving the division female's watch, or like women's watch, men's watch, and just selling two completely different kind of products. So I appreciate those brands who are just selling a nice product, in just variations that work for everyone. And Naga is actually another brand that I really liked when they approached me. Some of my followers like recommended this brand to me when I was actually
Sure.
researching lesser known micro brands. And when I looked at their page, they actually have female models, presenting this watch as well, which kind of was like, yes, please, we need that as well. We want to see this watch on the smaller wrist, not only on those handsome male models. So that's another approach, to show it on the like variation of
Totally.
wrists.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. And I think there's this trend of brands going to smaller watches now, so hopefully we will
Totally.
see more and more of those things that we can just wear, and we don't need to necessarily talk about, is it a man's watch or a woman's watch. So
Yeah.
I
Tell me
think
about.
that's the main thing. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's the main thing that it should actually go to eventually. Of course, I know that when you're a woman or you're like a partner looking for like a gift to your like wife, like partner or daughter, maybe it's convenient, to have the section for women's watches. So I
Yeah.
understand the reasoning behind it. So I'm not expecting the world to change. It's just,
Not
more
yet.
options. Having more options, that would be the best thing.
Tell me about your transition from watch enthusiast to like journalist. Like how did you get into writing? Like it it's a night and day transition, from just being an enthusiast to even going to content creator to now. I mean, writing is so challenging.
It is, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call myself a journalist. I'm just like a
Okay.
guest author there.
Okay.
I certainly don't have that much time to be a proper journalist. In my mind, I should have more time to be like in the industry, to just embrace myself completely in the industry,
Sure.
and be able to pick up this and that, and just I sadly have a day job and a kid, and so I can do now I can do that now. Who knows, maybe in the future. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm writing as a guest author because I wanted to try something new. As I mentioned before, I was surprised how many people actually read my posts when I was posting since the very beginning. I wanted to every post to have a story behind again. Like something like that people can read. They can identify with or not. They can read about my perspective, my opinion about some things, or also my just read about my complainings about how
Y-
tired I am and how this all
Yeah.
watching helps me to survive that. But anyway, to hear my perspective. So many people were telling me that they enjoy reading what I'm writing, and then I had more and more ideas, and the caption on Instagram is not that long to kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, to kind of express that. And then Rob came on to me and he was like, are you writing somewhere? I was like, no. And do you want to? And I'm like, yeah, definitely would like to try. And I started talking with Watch Gecko, and they're lovely, and it's they're very flexible, so I don't, I can write as much as I can. And I really enjoy the process. I really enjoy that. I wish I could do that more. So yeah, in the future, maybe it will happen. So it was just pure accident, that it happened. It was
Yeah, yeah.
one of those going out evenings in Prague when we went for some drinks with Rob. Of course, he didn't ask me then, but like a couple of months later. But we just got to know each other then. So the networking in this community is amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
was it Micro Praha? Is that where
yes,
you yeah,
yes.
I saw your post there and I was like, that looks like such a fun little show.
It's amazing. I'm definitely going this year again. It's just like 3 hours away from where I live, so like by car. So that's nice. Definitely going. It's a great show. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get out to Europe and do more Europe shows.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
There's so many of them happening. That's so cool. Each time, like every week, I'm saying, "Oh, this is another one. This in Germany, in the UK, in I don't know, France, Italy." So it's pretty.
it's it's very weird because, we don't have a real watch show in Las Vegas. Like the one that I was telling you about earlier, it's more like a jewelry show where it's like jewelry brands. So a lot of jewelers, like
Mhm.
jewelry store owners are coming to Las Vegas. And so a couple watch brands, will like do it. And Oris was doing it up until last year. And that was I think that's the last one they're gonna do,
Oh.
but you're starting to see brands that are kind of like shying away from it, um, because it's just not profitable. It's very expensive to do these shows, and it's just, if you're
Yeah.
selling diamond rings or necklaces or bracelets or stuff like that, then it's a great show for you. But for watch brands, very
Yeah.
challenging. And then parallel to it, it's like an antique jewelry and watch show. But it's all Rolex, it's all Patek, it's all AP. Like you'll go to some displays and it's just all Rolex. And so like yesterday when we were going through it, we were like, oh, Rolex, oh, okay, just keep moving. Oh, Rolex, okay, nothing there for us. You know what I mean? Like we're looking for these really obscure like vintage watches, or even independent watches. And so you just don't see it even coming here. But yeah, we need something like that in Vegas. Like there needs to be like a show.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry. I think the same thing kind of happened in Dubai,
Mhm.
because I just when I was now in Italy last month, I met Ahmed from Watch Collective too, and he lives in Dubai, and they're actually starting a new microbrand show this year
Oh,
in Dubai, around the time when Dubai Watch World is happening. Dubai
Dubai Watch
Watch
Week.
Watch Week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Watch Days, Watch Week. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, somebody just have to,
I I'm
get
working on it. I'm
Yeah.
working on it. I had a show last night with Maurice Lacroix,
Hmm.
and he's now the managing director. He was the CEO, but he flew in to do the show with us. And it was incredible. It was incredibly fun. Got to sit on a panel and talk to him in front of a lot of people, and I was like, it's so weird because I'm used to doing this, and I can do this with tens of thousands of people listening. But like when I sit down in a room with like 40 people and a microphone in my hand, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. I would probably just totally
Your head
lock
starts
myself in.
spinning. Yeah, your head starts
Yeah.
spinning. You start sweating. You start feeling clammy up here. Like it's like,
Yeah, exactly. I know. I'm like, even, at work when I have calls with a couple of people, sometimes I'm like, okay, break it with a joke. Maybe, something.
yeah,
Start with the
yeah.
joke. Maybe it will be better. But yeah.
I read. I don't know if it's still accurate, but you're in cybersecurity. Is that right?
Yes. Well, not anymore actually, but I
Okay.
was for a couple of years. Yes. I'm in IT in general for 13 years.
Oh, okay. I'm in cybersecurity. I don't know if you knew
Okay.
that.
No.
That's what pays for all this.
Yeah, exactly. I was before my maternity leave, I was in cybersecurity, but then I came back to a different role, which is a little bit less stressful.
Oh
Thank you.
yeah, cybersecurity. I mean, that's the reason I'm losing my hair.
Yeah, it can be really demanding and
It
really,
is.
yeah.
It is. That's super cool. I didn't even know that. But when I was doing my research for this article, or for, not this article, this podcast,
Hmm.
I was like, oh, we have a lot more in common than we thought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's cybersecurity is super interesting. So that's true. But then, in my current situation in life, I just need something more. I can just work, for 8 hours and then forget about
Yeah,
about.
that's what I try to do. At least I
Yeah.
try to do it. Um, so that sounds crazy because you were in cybersecurity, a mom with a young child, and a content creator, a watch content creator. Like, how did you do all that?
It's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's of course the main moments what I can fully embrace in content creations are in the evenings or at night, are sometimes in the lunch break when I'm working, and when my son is with his dad. So it requires a lot of planning, ahead. I don't really have the time for myself, just like, I don't know, my son goes to bed and then I need an hour or something to do, just nothing, to just watch TV or
Yeah.
scroll Instagram. I don't get that ever. Maybe once a week, I have 1 hour to do that. I'm trying to
Oh,
kind of organize 1 hour to do that because otherwise I will go crazy. So I have those periods where I have to be off Instagram for a week because otherwise, it's way too much to handle. And I know it's not necessary. Maybe I could spend less time on it, but I'm just like, when you're like really passionate or something, it's
it's
really hard
hard.
to
Yeah.
let go. And I want to do more, and I have those ideas, and then I don't know, editing a video, and I'm like, oh, I have idea of this other video that I would like to create now, but it's like past midnight that I should go to bed because my son wakes up at 5. So all those things, yeah, requiring really planning and really discipline, which I lack usually. So it's something that I'm working on,
That's hard in IT. Like, those are all very important
Yeah,
values.
yeah, yeah. So it's still something I'm working on, And I also have ADHD, so I'm, starting a couple of things at the same time, never
Same.
finishing any of them. So it's something, I'm just saying to myself, you need to, chill, slow down, finish one thing. But my brain doesn't work that way. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely. There are some days, and recently I've been on spree with many ideas that I would like to do. Things that I would like to do, what I would like to try, create. But I just have no time for that. And I was like, maybe I can get a rich husband who can pay for my living, what I can fully embrace in this. Just kidding, but no, I appreciate that I can still, do what I want. There's nobody else telling me what to do, and I'm just doing.
I was about to make a bad joke because we probably have some of those people listening.
Oh no, no, sorry. I'm not saying like, I'm saying that as a good thing, It's
Yeah, no, for sure.
helpful, like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it to say that that's bad or those people are
No,
not
of course,
relevant or
yeah.
anything. No, no, no.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
It would be just so much more convenient, but it's not. It is what it is, and I'm trying to make it work.
Life is easier when you have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Let's just put it like, especially if you're a watch collector.
Yeah, but it's that's also part of my story, kind of. That's like I fit in a different kind of, because people are saying, oh, the women watch collectors. We are also different, There are
Yeah.
some who like those more kind of jewelry type watches or the very luxury watches. There are some that like yeah, different things, and some who like try the new things. Like I like micro brands and I like sports watches. I like men's watches, and
Yeah.
I don't buy super expensive watches because I simply have no budget for that. And
Sure.
there's many people like me, so I feel, and that's not even mentioning the gender. It's
Yeah,
just
of course, yeah.
I feel that's many of my followers are men, And I think they can still identify with what I'm posting thanks to that, because I try not to do it. Well, not even try. That's just who I am. I'm
Yeah.
writing the way that I feel it can speak to everyone, not only women.
Are you hoping to kind of reach different demographics in the future? Like, if you just said there's a lot of guys following you, like, do you wish there was more of a female community that was, engaged in your
Um,
content, or like, how do
yes
you
or
feel
no?
about that?
Yes and no. I think I would definitely. It would be something. It would bring me a lot of satisfaction if there were like more women starting following me and enjoying what I'm showing there and what I'm talking about. And getting into watches. Of course, that would be like a big win. But
Totally.
it's not my end goal, because to kind of address that, I would have to change the way I'm creating my content, and I enjoy what I'm doing right now. So I don't want to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. And I feel I can speak to everyone. I don't need to just try to reach the certain target of people. So yeah, it would be nice, but I'm not going to die trying to get there.
Yeah. You're at that, like, level of success where you're starting to get kind of influenced by brands, and they kinda shape how you create content. Like, how do you approach that? So, like, I had a conversation, just yesterday with Ben's Watches. He's in Vegas right now, and we were talking about, like, how you decide which brands to work with and which brands to not work with, and how you decide to produce content. And
Mhm.
it was a really interesting conversation because, I feel like I'm kind of an outcast in that sense, like, as to who I work with and how I engage with brands. But I'm curious if you could touch on that for you and your brand and your identity. Like, how do you decide which brands to work with? How do you decide what type of content produce and which stories to tell,
Mhm. So yeah, so in majority of cases, well, all the brands I'm working with, I like their watches. I get much more requests for collabs than what I'm actually doing.
Sure.
For some people, maybe it sounds like, oh, she's taking all the, uh, whatever. But no, no, it's not like that. What I'm showing on my page is actually what I like.
Right.
So it's that, and the majority of brands I'm working with are very flexible. They contacted me in the first place because they like what I'm doing already. So they're looking for kind of similar thing. I'm always open to conversations. What would help them to achieve what they want. To kind of find a golden middle, let's say. But in majority of cases, they're just like, yeah, do whatever you're doing. You're fine.
Totally.
So, and if somebody is giving me some like rules that you have to do this and this and that doesn't work for me, I just say no, sorry. I mean, like I just can't
Same.
compromise my kind of mm, who I am, and what I'm doing. Yeah.
1,000%. I agree. And a lot of people, like, have talked to me too about, like, how come I'm not very critical of watches, that I review or that I talk about or that I show. And I'm like, well, if I was critical of them, I wouldn't show them,
Yeah,
like
exactly it. That's what it is. Yeah.
I don't want to, like, go on YouTube and just, like, destroy a watch
Hmm.
because, somebody at that brand, like, really put a lot, so at least in some cases,
Yeah.
probably put a lot of energy, effort, and that's like their baby, like, I don't want to
Yeah.
throw the baby in the bathwater out, at the same time, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm feeling, because I get the chance to speak during those watch events to many brand owners, to many people working there. As like, yeah, quite often it's huge passion behind it. And maybe it's not a watch for me. Maybe I would do some things differently if I was them, but I'm not going to destroy the dreams. And sometimes
Yeah,
I just prefer to not take the call up than,
same.
you know, yeah.
It's
so
much
so yeah,
easier.
and it's important for me to also show the things that I like, not show everything. Although sometimes I'm thinking, maybe all those brands deserve like, the voice to kind of to speak and to show what they're doing. And so that's one thing. But on the other hand, there are many ways to do that, and
Right.
I need to be true to myself as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of times too where I've gotten watches in and there's been like lists of talking points or like things that that I can say that help them sell their watches, and I'm like, I'm not your guy. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, and there's even times where I've even got a watch in, I've worn it for a while, I've appreciated it, and I've put together content on it, and then I just never distributed the content.
Oh,
Like I've
okay.
had that happen a lot, actually. There's a lot of brands. And sometimes too, like I'll put together content and I'll sit on it for a while and just see how the relationship with the brand evolves, because I really only want to support brands that also support me,
Hmm.
like it's a two-way relationship, so um it's a challenging thing to even think about. But let's again, talk about fairy tales. So if you could collaborate or work with one dream brand, who would it be and why?
Hmm. Um, okay. I feel like I'm going to be so boring with that.
That's okay. It's your perspective, right? That's why we're here.
Uh,
We're listening to you. They're not listening to me.
yeah. No, I feel like I like, and it's not going to be again super luxurious brand, but the brand that I like a lot. I admire a lot what they're doing, and it's Oris. I like Oris. I like what they're doing in terms of delivering different watches, different designs, doing really fun stuff like with their Kermit or Miss Piggy watches. And I feel from this kind of mainstream brands, it's they're affordable. Well, of course, for some people it's still like expensive because that's not
Yeah, yeah.
forget.
They're
Not
expensive. They're
everybody
expensive
has, yeah,
watches.
not everybody has the same budget, but let's say it's easier to get than like a Rolex or something, so yeah, so I would love that because I like their creative process and I like what they're doing. um, and also I think another brand that I would love to work with is do how I think, yeah, IWC is pretty cool. I like their the things that they're doing. The engineer is Gerald Genta is my favorite design of mine, and I just see myself wearing that watch.
In a
And
fairy tale of IWC.
yes,
Like,
yes. But also, I went there this year during Watches and Wonders to have this the private appointment, and I just loved everything. It's like it's like technical. There were like cars around there.
yeah.
Influences, like the inspirations, the stories again. They're telling, and it's just really really fascinating. So it would be nice to be for a little while a part of this world too.
Yeah. Yeah, they're two amazing brands, and I'm a huge IWC fan. I have a couple IWCs that I enjoy wearing on a regular basis, and Oris is, I guess even a great brand just to work with, because when I was there in Geneva, I was actually on an Oris project, which I was very
Mhm.
fortunate to be a part of. Um, yeah, Oris is great. Oris
Yeah,
is
great,
amazing.
great.
I don't
So,
I don't own any of their watches, but I've almost turned over into owning one. Um, I'm very much watches are very meaningful to me, and I feel like, I aspire to own a Oris someday. I just haven't gotten over the hurdles to owning it yet, in a weird way, if that makes sense. Like, something catches my eye, but I
mhm.
still in the back of my mind have that Oris that I want. So I got to borrow an Oris for like 3 or 4 weeks. and it was a phenomenal watch to wear. It was the Oris
Yeah.
Diver 65.
Oh, they're great. Yeah. I
Yeah.
have three Oris watches. So,
Oh,
and I was just talking to my friend the other week, and and I was just saying, maybe I should part ways with them at some point, but I don't want to. I think
yeah,
all three of them are staying with me. The first one is Aquis that I mentioned. So it was my first Grail watch, when I was really into like the budget watches, and it was like step up, and
sure.
it was amazing. And I have Big Crown pointer date in the Cervo Volante version,
Yeah, I
which
saw that. I saw
is
that. You wrote about
phenomenal
that.
watch. So good. And I have the Neo Vintage Oris from the early 2000s. It's a big crowned reverse pointer date, which is so cool because this
Right.
complication is so unusual. And I think this is probably the watch in my collection that brings the most wow from people when they see it, because it's you don't see that very often. It's very unique, it's very cool, it's very beautiful, and it's very feminine as well, because the version I have is like 33 millimeters, I think, and it's stunning. So I just can't see myself parting ways with any of those three.
I have three IWCs, and I feel the exact same like about them. And as much as I want to get rid of one, I just then I wear it and I'm like, "Ugh, I can't get rid of this.
Yeah, that's a thing that brings a smile to your face. That was the question you asked me, and that's what I feel. What I wear three of them actually.
They
I
all,
just
yeah, they all do. They all do.
and it's
Um,
so great because they're not, they won't put you in bankruptcy, when you get them, and you still have this amazing experience, and you can get so attached and create stories around them as well, because you can wear them a lot, and
yeah.
yeah, that's so cool.
Tell us about the future of Chrono Girl life. Like, what do you hope to accomplish? You know, like, how do you plan to get there? Because we're gonna check back with you and keep
Oh
you
my.
accountable.
Are we going to sign some paper after the?
I'll send you the documents after this.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's not a big secret. I was talking to many people about it. So one day I want to get on YouTube, definitely. The only problem I have with that now is the time constraints. So it's just something. I know that once I get there, once I create the content, I can make things work. I can shift some things around. But just to start, it feels like it's a huge amount of effort, time, and preparations for me to do. So over the next couple of months, I'm going to try to kind of rearrange a couple of things in my personal life, and the way I do maybe Instagram, to kind of allow for that to happen sooner or later. So that's my dream, to be on YouTube and to bore people with my perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I still want to be on Instagram. I think Instagram is such a fantastic platform. There's reason why we watch enthusiasts on Instagram call ourselves Watch Fam, because it really feels like family very
Totally.
very often. So I don't want to take that away from me,
Yeah.
from my personal pleasure. And I feel it's been very successful, very fun, and I want to do that still. So it's not going anywhere. But yeah, and more videos. I want to do more videography. I'm learning how to take better videos. I'm learning all those things about lights, cameras, and,
All the
and
fun stuff.
everything. Yeah, it's fun when you have time to do it.
Dude,
And when you're like stressed out, I want to shoot this video, but I would like to, play with, what's that?
this is
Oh,
a lifesaver. This is
yeah. Or is it?
all I brought to Switzerland. Well, not all I brought, but
Oh,
90% of the stuff I shot.
oh,
Freaking
cool.
amazing.
Yeah. Can you send me a link? It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's super easy to use, and
Yeah. I
um,
saw a similar thing Ahmed had in from the Watch
e-
Collective too.
everybody has these. It's
Yeah. And
like,
I was like,
well,
how
here
come?
So a little background too. I went to film school, and so
Oh,
I'm used to shooting with like these 30, 50, $70,000 cameras,
that's impressive.
and we have for our channel, because I recently got on YouTube, but I've invested in two really expensive Sony cameras and lenses and all this. Like I've got a whole set of cinema lenses, which are incredibly expensive. Um, but coming from those cameras and even shooting with this little Osmo Pocket, I've been so impressed with the footage, the color, like just the color rendition, like,
Mhm.
and this camera is like, I mean, it's around $500. It's not cheap,
How
but
much? How much?
like around 500 or 600 US
Okay.
dollars. So
Mm.
it's not crazy, but just it's changed my world. Like I did a project ironically for IWC, and I shot the entire project on this. And then when I show up, IWC is like, dude, are you serious? Like, what the hell are you doing? And
Yeah,
I was using this, and
you
then
definitely need to send me the link for that.
I was like, oh, just trust me, And they're like, okay, whatever. So like they let me do my thing, and then I sent them the videos. I'm like, holy shit! Like you filmed that little thing with this little like, and I just slip it in my pocket, and then like I'm off, and it's yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the
I
size
need
of a
that
phone.
because I'm going to London next week for the watch show, and
Oh
I'm of course, as I am, I'm a cheap girl,
yeah, that's
and
okay.
I'm flying a cheap airline. Not because it's cheap,
Always
but because it's the one I have from my hometown. So that's
sure.
my choice. But their baggage policy is it's crazy. The baggage costs more in one way than the whole trip. You know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just refuse to buy any additional baggage. So I'm only traveling with a small backpack. So I would actually love to have something like that because
I'll
I won't be able to fit my camera in.
I'll send you a link. And I
Wow.
tried to
Yeah.
turn Sophie onto one of these. So some of her, did you see her Nomos content, Sophie?
Uh, yes, most probably in
Hey, Watches and Wonders.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was I was I was shooting some of her content with this little thing because
Okay.
I was like,
Yeah.
"This is so easy," because then we were editing it on the spot, like we
Wow.
shot it, then we edited it, and then like 2 seconds later, it's on her
Awesome. Yeah.
social
No,
media.
I definitely saw that because I watch her content. But
Yeah,
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 I need
yeah.
to
It's
go back to it and pay closer attention.
I feel like such an asshole when I use this though, because like, I just told you about our Marisa Qua event, which was last night.
Mhm.
And so I'm working on like a project where I'm sitting down with these leaders in the watch industry and getting interviews with them. And so last night, like after our event, like it was like me and the whole Marisa Qua team and a couple friends, and like we ended up like partying too much. but
Okay.
but anyway, so it was like 1 a.m. and we were walking back like to the hotel, and like I said, he was the CEO, but now he's the managing director. I don't know what the difference is, um but I was like, hey man, do you want to shoot this interview like at 1 a.m.? He's like, let's just do it tomorrow because I'm tired. And I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's probably a good strategy because I would have done it, like I'm an idiot like that. But anyways, for this project I'm working on, we had so much gear that we had to get one of those like little baggage trolleys, and it was just
Okay.
we had like 13 or 14 cases with different lights, different cameras, different audio equipment, different blocking equipment, sound equipment, cords, and all this one little thing saves me from that.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. It sounds like way too good to be true.
It
So.
it's very much so. And then I see the mic too. It comes. You can buy one that comes with like a little short mic too, and it just
Mhm.
syncs right up. Oh, that's the Rode one. This one's the DJI
Okay.
one. But I'll send you a link. I'll send you a
Yeah.
link.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. Oh, it would help me a great deal because I'm already stressed going to. I've never been to London. Imagine.
yeah,
So it's my first time there. I'm very excited because there will be those the brands that will be there will be the ones that I'm really curious about. I've heard about them, in the past, or even I wanted to work with them in the past, but never got the chance. So I'm very, very, very curious how it's going to be. So I
Yeah.
really want to be able to shoot some nice content as well when I'm there.
You got this. You got this. I look forward to seeing you getting on YouTube after this.
Yeah,
So
after this, tonight I'm going to.
okay, all right.
I'll be so motivated on the dopamine kick, that I will just start
There
right
you
away.
go. Yeah, you got it. And if there's anything that I can do, obviously, to help, I'll do it. I'll try. I
Thank
try.
you.
Even
Yeah.
though we're so far, but we're still friends, Pod
Yeah,
friends.
that's what I'm saying. That in this community, we are all like in different parts of the world, but we always make it work when we want, and it's always great to have the support, and to know that there's somebody out there you can reach out to if you have some questions, doubts, or you just want to, vent, about
Yeah.
something, which is important as well sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Or cry too when you spend all your money on watches. It's always nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I'm like, so I'm going to the vintage show today, and I'm like, do I really want to buy this watch? Because I bought one yesterday, a Young Cons, and then the watch that I looked at was like Doxa, and I have two Doxas already.
Yeah, you want to. I think I can
I,
answer
and
that for you.
and then I'm such a Doxa fanatic, and this is like the 600T in orange, and
Oh,
it's
that's a
a
classic.
it's a really good deal. I don't think I'll ever get a better deal on it, but I'm
Yeah.
like, will I wear this? Like, which one will I wear more? Because
All those things, it reminds me those meme that has like this lady with all those equations,
oh
around
yeah,
her head.
oh
You know.
my, that's so funny. That's so funny that you bring that up because Doxa, like I said, Doxa is one of my brand friends, and this is what I sent to her today when I
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
I'm a mean girl, so you can speak memes to me.
see, I was like, yeah, Doxa 600T, like tempted, price too good, and I sent her a wrist pick, and she's like, no, that's epic. And then she's like, I was like, oh, how much is it? So I told her, and then I said, yes, I did some calculations, and then like, you know, and
Yeah,
she was laughing about it, but no,
and
that's
she's
so
like,
funny.
yeah, you get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope I get it, but I also hope I don't get it because the money is not having the money is nice,
But then,
but
yeah, you can get it and, part ways with something else, but that's not easy either.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about like I was talking to my wife. I was like, like which watch would I get rid of if I brought this one? Because I'm really trying to kind of flush out my collection. And
Mm.
there's a lot of watches that like I love to wear just because they're so comfortable. Here in Vegas when it's like 120 degrees Fahrenheit in summer,
I don't know what
like
it is in Celsius, but yeah, I
I'll have to
believe you.
look it up. I think it's like almost like 40.
Okay. Oh, that's, yeah, way too much too.
48 degrees Celsius.
48. No way. Okay, I would die probably. And I,
Me
I love the heat, but no, that's
Yeah, but when you have leather watch straps that just melt right off your wrist at that point,
yeah, no, yeah.
yeah,
When it
yeah,
starts giving the bad smell, everything. No, no leather.
yeah, and then yeah, so we'll have to figure that out.
Hmm.
But I want to thank you for spending so much time with us. This is amazing. I'm finally glad that I got you on. Humbled to have you on my show.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be invited.
Honored
And
to have
yeah,
you.
I'm just, yeah, I'm hoping that, somebody will want to listen to whatever this girl wants to say. But yeah, either way, it's been a great pleasure. And thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll let you know how many people tune in after the fact. So, but no, it's cool. It's cool. It's really cool because I'm not really like big on the data. Like Miss GMT is a really good friend of mine as well, and
She's lovely. Yeah.
she's so into the data about everything. She's like, oh, like we were talking about like guy to girl ratios on Instagram and all this, and I was like, how do you even check that? Like. And then she's like, "Oh, you click this and then click that." And I'm like, like this is my voice. This is a reflection of me, my content, my outlet. Like you talked a lot about that. Um, at the end of the day, I'm doing content for me, and just the fact that people even want to listen, you know, is awesome,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's somehow people in 60 countries are listening to
Yeah,
this right now. That's crazy. That's a crazy
amazing. That
stat.
means that you're doing something right. And I think it's, when you're just true to yourself, you're doing what you like, what you believe in, what drives you, what's your passion. It just speaks for itself then at the end of the day, That's why I think I'm the same way. I'm not trying to pretend that I'm someone else that I'm not, you
Sure.
know, that
Yeah.
I'm cooler than I am, that I'm more fancy than I am. No, I'm just here sitting in my dirty kitchen that you cannot see because I'm
You
hiding
should you should see my office. My office is a tornado right now, okay? So,
everything. And yeah, speaking to you, and it's been really great. Thank you again for
thank
that.
you so much. Everybody, we are going to link Anna's social media in the bottom of this description. Make sure you're following her if for some reason you aren't already. So, thank you
Yeah.
so much, and hopefully I look forward to seeing you on this side of the pond at some point.
Oh, okay. Ambitious. Oh, I never
Yeah.
thought about it before, but maybe, who knows?
Yeah. When you come to Raleigh, come to Vegas after. So,
Okay. Yeah,
uh,
yeah, I will do.
thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.